Sometimes the big pack is the right pack. Hey everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense, and we're here today to talk about the large Becker Patrol Pack. If you've been following this channel for a while, you remember that I got the original Becker Patrol Pack some time ago. And I really like that pack. Still really like that pack. However, I was going out for a 48-hour FTX. I just did the One Shepherd SNS Training Solutions joint FTX. It was great. We'll talk about that more some other time. And I wanted a bigger pack. I wanted a bigger pack to carry more stuffs, more things. So I ended up scooping this one. Now this one is made out of 1000D. So that's cool. Normally I think it comes with their own kind of proprietary material, which I really like. The 1000D does make this particular one heavy. So just keep in mind that, you know, as I'm reviewing this, you may or may not end up with a 1000D version, and that may or may not be beneficial to you based on what you're after, right? So we'll talk about the layout of the pack. If you're familiar with the normal Becker Patrol Pack, you're gonna find a lot of the same stuff here. I really like the size of this pack. I was able to take this out without having to put any additional pouches on it. Right now, I do have a canteen pouch on the belt. I have 2 canteen pouches on the belt because I'm moving to set this up for more winter use and just kind of wanted that preloaded, ready to go, because I plan on carrying my metal canteens out for winter time stuff so I can heat it up and it doesn't freeze, you know, etc., whatever. So I do have some stuff packed in here right now, but that's not really about what's in here. I already did a 48-hour loadout video from my FTX and what I had in the pack, but that's not what we're doing. We're just talking about the pack itself today. So, pack itself, like I said, this one's 1000D. They also come in their proprietary material, which I have on the normal Becker Patrol Pack. Very much enjoy that. I like this size a lot. I think all in, it's quoted at about 65 liters. And I'm pretty sure that includes the external pouches here, not just the main compartment. That said, the main compartment, plenty big to get your sleep kit in, right? That's primarily what the main compartment is for getting that sleep kit in there. So, you know, your whoopee or your sleeping bag or both, your bivvy, your sleep mat. For me, I use a rolled up inflatable sleep mat, that kind of thing. Definitely big enough as we'll get there. So let's start on the outside, work our way in. Okay, again, if you're familiar with the Becker Patrol Pack, you're gonna see a lot of familiar things here, okay? So here is the lid, okay? We're gonna start with the lid. These are mag pouches, same ones that are on the Becker Patrol Pack. They're quoted for 2 and you can fit 2 mags in there comfortably. You can get 3 if you really force it in there. So that's cool. Do have a little drawstring right here. To be honest, I don't use that at all. I just leave it all the way out and then I just use the buckle closure in order to secure it, right? They do have these little Velcro sister, you know, strap keeper things all over. Honestly, too many for me. I have removed some of them in places because they get in the way of actually adjusting the straps as I like. So I've removed some. You don't have to do that. You know, they're nice to have, right? I'd rather have too many and then remove them rather than the other way around. So 2 mag pouches up top. I like that it's up top because ammo is heavy and you want your heavy stuff high. So being able to store an extra 4 to 6 mags up top here is very nice because it puts the weight where it should be rather than, you know, running a mag pouch kind of off the side low, which is what I end up doing on a lot of packs, right? You can always drop the pack, resupply from here, or have your buddy grab it. Velcro field right here. Honestly, haven't used that much, but it's a cool place to have. Up top, ooh, let me see here if I can show that to you. Right there. Up top here in the lid, this is a, you know, kind of Claymore pocket style thing. Right now I have some gloves up here. I usually have a hat up here, whatever. It's probably about the same size as on the normal Becker, maybe a little bit smaller, but that's up here, extra pouch there. Now on this side, on both sides, these are identical, okay? This is a pretty beefy, pretty large pouch on the side here. I would guess it's something like 8-ish liters. I'm making that number up, okay? So don't quote me on that. It also has these 2 side pouches here. These also can fit a magazine, all right? Tourniquet. I had a bunch of food stuffed in here, but you could really do whatever you want. The zipper here, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but it is taped, right? So this isn't waterproof, but it's definitely water resistant, so that is cool. All of these pouches, you're not gonna be, I don't know if you'll be able to see that here. Let's see here. But there's a drain hole. There's a laser cut drain hole right here, okay? Same with over here on the bottom of this little side pouch as well. They all have those laser cuts in them for draining. That's cool. It's not gonna hold on to water, okay? And these side pouches are pretty big. So for example, on this one here, I have a 10 by 10 foot tarp in here. It's essentially like it's a little bit bigger than a Basha shelter, a British, like a Basha. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? They have these collars that come up here, which is cool, like a snow collar. But my Basha shelter can just fit in here. Like I said, it's like a 10 by 10 foot tarp, and I can get that sucker in there. It took a little bit of work, but I got it. And I can cinch that down, and now it can hold that shelter. So that's cool. All of the external pouches here, they have individual compression straps for those pouches, right? So otherwise it'll kind of rattle around on me, but I can crank it down, right? And now that's gonna stay tight. I really like that. Big fan of these things staying tight. That's cool. That's on all four of the external pouches, okay? So the two on the side are identical. Big, beefy. I had titanium and stainless steel canteens in here with cups, no problem. I also had food stuffed on top of it, no problem. You can easily store enough food, and if you just use both of these for your food, I don't know, 5 days, probably at least. I mean, quite a bit, okay? These are bigger than the side pouches on the normal Becker Patrol Pack, if you're familiar with that. These ones here on the front, okay? These are the same size as the side pouches on the normal Becker Patrol Pack. So that's to say they're also pretty decently sized. Again, snow collar, right? Both the collar here has a drawstring as well as the actual collar all have drawstrings, okay? So you can really cinch it down. Again, don't use that secondary drawstring too much. I will cinch up the snow collar, stuff it in, and then latch it. Again, these are pretty beefy. You can fit a poncho in here pretty handedly. I fit a poncho in one of these when I went out. I can't remember what I had in the other one. I might have just been running it empty and or just some little stuff in there. But again, these also have that cinch strap, okay? So I can cinch down that pocket, which is great. That is removable if for whatever reason you don't want that because you're crazy. But again, big fan of being able to have the strap so I can cinch that pocket down, both for like retaining the items in it, but more importantly to keep the pack tight. Tight pack is a light pack. Big fan of that. So those two are the same here, okay? When you open the lid, you have another pouch right here, okay? This is like a secondary Claymore pouch. This is pretty beefy. I had a bunch of stuff in here when I went out. My Bible, some like thermo tabs, just my compass, just a bunch of semi-random stuff that I had stuffed in here and kind of filled that out. On the original Becker Patrol Pack, they just have Molly right here. I do like this pouch. It's like having a nice second admin pouch, a nice second Claymore pouch. I'd be willing to bet, yeah, I think it's the exact same pouch, to be honest. It's the same size and everything. They sewed it on top and then they put another one here. So that's cool. I'm a fan. You know, if you want to store anything in here, I would recommend using like a dry bag, not because it's going to get wet, although that's a possibility, but then just because you could open this out, grab your bag, come out, take what you need. You don't want a bunch of loose things in here. That's going to fall out on you, okay? Nice pouch like that there. That is all that is up here. A couple notes here. Pass-through, okay? So this pouch has a pass-through behind it. This pouch here also has a pass-through behind it, okay? So you can get through there. The strap to get the lid runs through that pass-through, okay? You can run it over the top if you want. You can do whatever you want. I like running it through the pass-through. That kind of keeps it out of the way. If I wanted, right, I could come through this pass-through too, right? And I could cinch it right here. So you could do that to kind of keep it all out of the way. If this was really full and I wanted to maintain this accessibility to this pocket, right? I could easily come up here. Oh, hold on, there we go. Run that through, right? Let this be big and beefy and full of stuff, and that way I can access this pocket as I need to. So that's an option. I like that because what that means is I don't have to break down the whole pack to start getting into my external pouches. I like having external pouches built into a pack so that if I just need to set it down and get some food, or just pull up my poncho, or just pull up my shelter, or whatever, I don't have to dig into the whole pack and then restrap everything. That's a pain. Having external pouches that I can just grab that thing that I'm gonna need, food, shelter, whatever, makes it a lot easier, right? Once I settle down for the night, I know I'm gonna sleep here. All right, yeah, now we're gonna break open the whole pack. I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna get everything I need. That makes sense. But I like having the option to store everything externally, okay? On the bottom here, you got one row of MOLLE below the pouches, okay? I use that a little bit, not a ton, but that's an option. I do wish that these straps here had a little bit more length in them, and I might at some point just add some, because then I could use this to strap something else down. Now, could I still do that? Probably could get away with it, right? It might be a little bit of a struggle, but that would be cool, so that I could slide my bedroll in here and then cinch the daylights out of these straps, right, to tie that in. As it is, I think it maybe is just maybe a little short. Maybe I wish I had another 6 to 8 inches, but you know, I'd say that, right, and then I'd complain the straps are too long. So that would maybe be one thing of improvement that I would offer, but again, not complaining here, solid pack. Still very happy with the pack, just so we're clear. Bottom drag handle, I really like that a lot. There's also one at the top. We'll talk about that in a minute, but big fan of that. On the bottom here, this is a MOLLE field on the bottom, okay? I have just run a bunch of shock cord in here because I just put a little sitting pad on here. So we'll take that out of the way so you can kind of see what's going on here, okay? But a bunch of MOLLE on the bottom. So you can run, you know, whatever you want to do there. I just put that sitting pad there for right now because I wanted to be able to have a sitting pad again, preparing for winter. Also in this case, I was just on that FTX, and at one point there was a lot of rain and the ground was real wet, and I thought, I wish I could just have a sitting pad so I could go grab it and then I could set that down and pull security so I don't have to get my butt all wet. And so that's what that's doing there. That's gonna be smarter on me for next time, okay? Let's see here. On the sides, so this one does have a zipper. That's cool. I'm gonna be honest, haven't really used that. Don't really plan on using it, but if you wanna get that in there, that's cool. I currently have my waterproof bag in here, so it's not super useful for me personally, but if you're into that and you wanna be able to access that from the side to get things, that's a cool feature. It also, they thought this is really smart, they have this in the Becker Patrol Pack too, but it has these little rivets right here and these little tie downs right here, okay? And so I could run paracord through there. You could field repair this if the zipper breaks, or if you just want to seal it off because you don't plan on using it like I do. That's a cool option, okay? Fan of that. Extra buckle right here. Honestly, not 100% sure what that's for. Oh, you know what? I know what that's for. That's for this cinch pouch here. It just came undone. So I'll have to run that back through there, but that's what that is for. They have some daisy chain, both sides of the pack here. So if you want to daisy chain something in there, I had my shelter daisy chained in here, just didn't like how it fit, ended up not using it. But you could put, you know, if you just want to carry your gloves in here or whatever, you know, daisy chain. You're a smart man, okay? On the bottom, you get 2 rows of MOLLE, okay? And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns wide. So, you know, you're talking Army sustainment pouch, Marine sustainment pouch. Now that's going to hang down, right? It's going to hang off the bottom, but point is, you could put a lot there. Like that's pretty impressive. These again, these are pass through, right? So if I wanted to put like, right now I have this plastic bag in here for trash, but if I wanted to put, you know, your axe, your trekking poles, anything long, that's gonna fit. I think on this side I have my saw, if I remember right. Yep. So I have a saw in here. Okay. On the top, so that's the bottom, cinch strap as well. Okay. On the top of that pouch, again, you got 1, 2, 3 columns of MOLLE, or 3 rows of MOLLE. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to call it 6 columns. So again, a lot of other pouches you can put on here. I mean, you could load this thing down and really expand the capacity with some big pouches. Now, I will say, I don't like putting a pouch up here because then it interferes with my lid, and I don't get the full use out of this pouch that I that I like. That kind of defeats the purpose of this pouch to me. So I don't run anything up here. But if for whatever reason I needed to just juice this thing up to like 85 liters or something, you know, I could put 4 more pouches, external pouches on here, and we can get a lot of room on here, gentlemen. We could really do a lot with that. So again, very cool. I like that. I like being able to have that option to really beef it up. Same thing on the bottom here, right? You could run, they'd hang down, but I could run more pouches because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7.5, depending on how you count there, columns of Molly here, okay? So again, I could run quite a bit off the bottom of this bag. It would hang off, but I'm gonna have a lot more capacity. So that's cool, okay? You can definitely do that. You could arguably, I don't know if you could get to 100 liters, but you could probably get to 85 pretty handedly if it's 65 as is, right? So you could beef it up. Now, let's talk about the frame and the straps, okay? So, originally this came with their yoke system thing, which is cool. I like that on the Becker Patrol Pack a lot. When I tried that yoke system on this pack with the frame, it was not jiving with me. Not jiving. I don't know why. I really like on the Becker Patrol Pack. I'd emailed Tom a little bit about this, and he had said, you know, once you put the frame in, it's just kind of hit or miss depending on who you are and your build and your size and whatever. So, I don't know. For me, it didn't work, okay? I ended up going with just their single straps. I think they call them their slam straps. These have worked great. But gonna be honest, haven't done a ton of rucking in this pack yet. I lived out of it for 48 hours, excuse me, not 48 days, 48 hours, but haven't done a lot of rucking. We rucked in, we rucked out, but, you know, to be honest, haven't done a lot of rucking with it. That being said, the rucking I have done, super comfortable, big fan. Really like the arch frame, the DEI arch frame. I bought that separate. But one of the things I definitely like is that it arches at the bottom, okay? So it arches, connects at the top, right? That's where you run your straps through. I did a video on how to connect the straps here. If you're interested, that's already on my channel. But because it leaves this open, this doesn't feel like this is gonna dig into me. That was one of my issues with the DG3, is that it would dig into my lower back a little bit. There was a little bit of a hot spot there. Haven't felt any hot spots here. Big fan of that. Comes with a separate belt to attach to the frame. That's cool. Came with a separate straps, also cool. The belt itself has 3, you're not gonna be able to tell now because I got the pouch on it, right? But there is a field of Molly back here. It is 3 columns wide, in 2 rows. So easily able to get my canteen pouches on there. Again, that's cool. I like being able to store water there. That feels like free space. This is a pull forward belt design. So you pull forward to tighten it once you get it all cinched up. That's cool. Big fan of that. Strap super comfortable, frame super comfortable. Tom, the owner of Bongo Gear, again, recommended to me the arch frame. I would recommend it to you. No complaints there. Grab handle right up here so you can grab onto the pack and move it around and all that stuff. I think that is all there is to say about this portion of the thing. I would this pack does not come with a frame. Get a frame. If you don't already have a 1606 MC frame, or like I said, the DEI arch frame or something like that, you need one, okay? This is a big boy pack, 65 liters. This is designed to have a frame. You have to run this off a frame. Yes, it comes with an internal aluminum sheet and whatever, but what did you buy a big pack for if you're not gonna run a frame with it? That doesn't make any sense at all. Otherwise, you should just stick to the normal Bongo Gear patrol pack, okay? But you're running this one, get a frame. You're a man. That's the whole point. Okay, I think the only thing left we have to talk about is the inside of the pack. So inside of the pack, again, snow collar, okay, with this drawstring. That's cool. Also, drawstring just for the general opening of the pack. Haven't used that at all. Honestly, don't plan on really using that. Just gonna stick with the snow collar. Inside here, it's pretty big. I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna be able to show this on camera, but it is not small. Just gonna take all this other kind of semi-random stuff I have out of here. First of all, there is orange in here, so that's cool. You got one on the back here, and there is a hanger for your bladder, okay? And then I could put my bladder in this pocket right here. That's cool. Haven't used that feature. There's a pass-through on the lid. Let me see if I can demonstrate that for you here. So I removed the Velcro right there, okay? There's a pass through here, so I can run my hose through. That's cool. Again, haven't used that on this one. Same setup as on the Becker Patrol Pack. I'm sure it'll work great. There is also another side pocket right here, another one on this side, and then one on the front of the pack as well, okay? Other than that, it's just a big, cavernous, deep thing. Again, I got all this stuff in here, no problem. You know, sleep kit, whatever, you're gonna be just fine. Clothes, sleeping, whatever. That's not a big deal. On the back side of the lid here, there is another pocket, okay, separate from the Claymore pocket on top. And this one's pretty beefy as well. I mean, right now I got some mint picks. What are these? Natural floss mint picks. I got them because they're biodegradable and I can use them and then toss them. So that's cool. And the ouch pouch, little med pouch, and a little signal panel. And that's all I have in here, but honestly, that's maybe half full, maybe. I mean, I could fit quite a bit more in there if I really needed to. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. I'm just trying to decide if there's anything else that you need to know about this. So again, I just want to emphasize that the size of this is big. Like if you're like, oh, I need a big boy ruck because I'm going multiple days in the wilderness or a multi-day mission or whatever, this is going to fit the job. Again, 65 liters all in. If it can't fit in here, you don't need it. Winter stuff might be different, but I mean, even for a couple days in the winter, guys, I mean, you're going to be pretty good. Like, you're going to be able to get in most of what you need. I do plan on buying a super big boy winter pack, separate deal, but this one is my go-to multi-day pack from probably here on out because I know I'm going to be able to fit it, and if I can't, I probably don't need it. So, this has been my review of the large Becker Patrol Pack. I would recommend it to you. Big fan of the design, big fan of the pack. This one in particular is built out of 1000D, so I'm sure I will hand it down to my grandchildren. I hope that has been helpful for you. Hope that gives you some ideas about the large Becker Patrol Pack. Do brave deeds and endure.